Good evening. I call this meeting to order at 5 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, roll call. All directors are present. Moving on to approval of agenda. Mr. Bartz, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we have a couple of changes tonight. I would like to remove item number 13 as we do not have a closed session tonight. And also on item number 6A, the APN is modified from the original one we had, and it is now APN 3098-081-01.
Okay. All right, may I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll move the item.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor of the motion to approve the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The agenda is approved. Moving on to public comment. Is there anyone here that is not here for an award that has a public comment? All right, and then online?
I have a public comment.
Go ahead, Mr. Barnes.
Hello, I'm sorry I couldn't be there this evening. I'm a little under the weather, but I did want to make a quick comment. I'm a little bit concerned about one aspect of the solid waste ordinance that I know we are going to be finalizing. You are going to be finalizing sometime in the next few months. And that's specifically in the penalties and fines section, mainly at the bottom of page 31. This is section 40, part B, where it says a person violating any provision of this ordinance shall be guilty of a misdemeanor and shall be punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for not more than 30 days or by a fine of not more than $1,000 or by both such fine and imprisonment as may be allowed by law. And then in part C, there's some fines for people who don't sign up for waste service. But I'm just concerned about part B, and it really isn't because, I'm aware that there needs to be an enforcement mechanism for what is being changed in the district for how we handle waste. I'm just concerned that this is a rather steep punishment with no, there's no intermediate. It just goes straight to misdemeanor, 30 days in jail, $1,000, either or both. And some of the aspects of the ordinance to me don't seem to be worth that level of punishment. And so I'm not sure what the answer is. I'm just concerned not so much that this is a punishment that would be taken advantage of by the current members of CSD staff or the board, but just being aware that there are areas in the country, even today, I mean, we know about it from the past, but even today where people have used punishment like this in ways to, hurt people they don't like or to force things through in communities. And so I would just like to encourage the board to take a look at that and maybe look at how they could stagger the punishment so it doesn't go straight to misdemeanor, 30 days in jail, $1,000, something like that. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Are there any other members of the public online that have a public comment? Okay. Thank you. We will move on to community reports. We will start with in person. So Dr. Holman, you are up.
Good evening to everyone. Thanks so very much for this opportunity. Usually, I do apologize, right, to the board of directors and really anyone who knows me. Usually it's just one time per month. Now it's the second time this month, so thanks for the opportunity. In short, I will be really quick here because I am here tonight to support the individuals to my right and behind me and ultimately say thank you to all of you. Thank you so very much for this opportunity. Don't want to belabor it too much because we're going to get to it, but I do want to say this, that I do think and I think I speak for everyone in here and so many people within our community because we hear from them. The arts are so very important, right, to our educational system, but really to life. And so real credit to Kim right here, Sevi right next to me, and all of you who make this available to our kids and their families. I will tell you that they are very much appreciative of the ability to say, hey, let me show you what I can do. And I'm always blown away because my skill set is incredibly low compared to what these kids can do. But again, I just want to say thank you for supporting this opportunity that I know means a lot to all these people here tonight. So I'm just going to back away and take pictures if you don't mind, because I'd love to put them on our social media because we're so very proud of what they've accomplished and this partnership that we have with you. So thank you again for the night here tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. All right, online, I see Sam Shoup. How are you this evening?
I'm doing quite well. How are you all today?
Good.
So I'm not going to take up too much of your time. First off, I just want to say I apologize. I've missed the last few meetings. I try to, like Dr. Hellman said, try to make at least one a month, but unfortunate timing and schedule conflicts. So I'm glad to be back virtually with all of you today. Just to give a quick update on the Phelan Road widening project. That was recent. The board recently recommitted to that project during a meeting earlier this month with a contract amendment that's designed to extend the time frame just a bit for our contract services, not in any way to delay the project, which I'm sure is what a lot of the first thoughts are going to be there. But to provide additional time to ensure that they're able to sufficiently do their environmental studies and draft engineering studies and all those fun documents that they need to get through as quickly as possible beforehand so that we're not delaying anything too much. So we're glad that was approved unanimously by the board. Additionally, it's been recommitted by both the Board of Supervisors, the County Transportation Authority as well, that this is a priority project for the area. It's been designated as, I believe SBCTA's 10-year plan is put it as a priority project with Measure I funding, because we do see the traffic and the congestion and the danger in certain areas that you do get through here is something we definitely want to address. One of the main constituent complaints we get out of the Phelan area to our office is people concerned about the increasing number of traffic accidents on Phelan Road. So we're hoping once this is completed, we'll be very excited and hopefully we'll be able to mitigate a lot of that and move forward from there. Additionally, this past week, the supervisor and most of the staff were able to attend a conference where, among other things, this was brought up as well. The supervisor emphasized to colleagues, county staff, and SBCTA was there as well, his interest in working with Caltrans to address the long-standing problems we encounter in the Cajon Pass. It's definitely been a priority of his to ensure we have some sort of emergency plan should the worst come to be and we get some sort of disaster to strike right there in the pass or along the fault zone. So that's something he's been pressuring Caltrans for quite some time, and he brought it up again this past week. So just a bit of an update what the supervisor's doing, and as always, if anyone has any questions for me, I'll be more than happy to help.
Any questions? No? All right, thanks. Good to see you.
Y'all always make it quick for me. Thanks so much, everybody. Good to see you all.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, and then I see Victor Hernandez. How are you this evening?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Awesome. So I'm just going to give a very brief update on what the senator has been doing. Right now, she currently has 14 of her bills that she's introduced that are still, quote unquote, in play. Last week was a suspense file hearing. What that means is the Appropriations Committee reviewed some of the bills to be able to move along to straight to a House floor vote. So right now we have 7 of her bills that will be on the consent calendar for tomorrow on the Senate floor. And then the remainder of her bills will still be going through the committee process, but she's out here working hard. And of course, if anybody needs any constituent services, always feel free to give a call to our office and we are here to assist.
Thank you very much. Question? All right. Okay, and I think that's all of the community reports. So we will move on to 3 consent items. Does anyone have any items they would like to pull? No? All right. Does anyone have a motion?
I will motion to move the item.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor of the motion to approve consent items, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The motion passes. Number 4, we had no matters removed, so we will move on to number 5, which is what you all are waiting for, presentations and appointments.
Okay, if President Kuyava could join me up here to help hand out these awards. So every year, the district puts on an Earth Day art contest, and I believe, Jim, we've been doing this since 2016. It's a combined effort between our recycling side of things and our water conservation side of the district, just to bring awareness to these issues during the month of April, which houses Earth Day. So we had a lot of submissions this year. We have 12 winners, so we can make our calendar. It does go into our district calendar that we hand out to about 2,000 customers. And so with that, we're going to start our presentation. So Mr. Fish, if you want to. Yeah. Okay, so our first winner, we're going to start with 3rd place for all categories. So our 3rd place winners is Riley Crockett. She's a kindergarten student with Snowline Academy. I don't know if she's here. If she's not, we'll mail it. Okay. And our next 3rd place winner in our 6th through 8th grade category is a tie. We have Morgan Segal. Are you present? Yay! So if you open it, you can see. Yeah, and at the end, we'll invite everybody back up, and we're going to do one big picture. Thank you. Okay, and in our 6th through 8th grade category, again, a tie, we have Aubrey Brown. She's a 7th grader at Piñon Mesa. You know, I forgot to announce what the prizes are. 3rd place is $50, 2nd is $75, and 1st is $100. All right. So 3rd place in our 11th, or I should say 9th through 12th grade category is an 11th grader from Serrano High School, Caitlin Patterson. So we'll move on to our 2nd place winners. So 2nd place in K through 5th is Hector Munoz, 4th grade at Phelan Elementary. And our next 2nd place winner, it's a tie in our 6th through 8th grade category, is Avery Mackey, 6th grade, Granite Mountain High School. And our other 2nd place winner in that category is Sophia Ramirez, 8th grade, Snowline Academy. And in our 9th through 12th grade category, we have, I'm so sorry, Siklali Navarez. She's a 10th grader from Serrano High School. that brings us to our first place winners. So our first place winner in our kindergarten through 5th grade category is Carson Perez, kindergartner at Heritage. And our next first place winner, he's a perennial contestant and always a winner, Jacob Jiang, 6th grade, Heritage. And then we have a tie for our 9th through 12th grade category for first. We have Shihab, 11th grade, Snowline Academy. How do you say your name? Okay, Faten Shihab. I was close. And then our final winner in first place is Caitlin Phillips with Mojave River Academy. So all of our winners and even our non-winners will make it into our calendar. So just make sure you stop by the district office starting in November to pick up your calendar. If we could get all our winners just kind of up here in front of these tables, please, so we can get a picture.
Should what?
Maybe we should help.
Yeah, he put tape.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and then put the taller ones in back.
Right in between the two blue pieces of tape.
You can hold your certificate up like this. Don't touch your face.
We need the little kids in the front.
Closer. Can I move you guys? Thank you back here. And then everybody shift down here. You guys can fit. You can just hold it. We'll fix it. All right. Just everybody take one more half step that way. There you go. And you just kind of feeling right.
It fell out. Did it? So you just want to hold it. There you go. That's perfect. Thank you. All right. Thank you. So all of our first place winners, in addition to the $100, will be displayed in our lobby for 1 year.
Nice. All right. Congratulations again to all of you incredible artists. I look forward to having that calendar on my wall. All right. So now we will move on to agenda item 6A. Discussion and possible action regarding temporary use agreement with Asplund Construction. Yeah. So we're just going to get into a lot of business now, so y'all are more than welcome to head out if you want to. We won't be offended. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, in next year. Yes, please enter next year.
That's cool.
They didn't want to stay.
We're not that cool.
Maybe they get some civics extra.
All right, so we will do 6A, discussion and possible action regarding temporary use agreement with Asplund Construction. Mr. Burns.
Thank you. On March 3rd, 2021, Asplund Construction began utilizing the APN 3066-26110, which is the property right next to the office over here. As we're getting ready to begin the construction process for that property, we've determined that they would, and they knew this from the beginning, that they would need to move to another site. We were able to provide another site, which is over by the Mojave Archers site over there, and the fill station. And they would like 3 years, and it may be extended to 5 years. There's a very good possibility of that if the district is willing, and if they are. And they've agreed to pay $6,500 per month for the property. So for the 3-year term, it's going to net $234,000 for that term. It's basically the same agreement as what we had before. It's a temporary facility use agreement. There is a drawing on page 42, and you can see on the back there, the weeds have been removed off of the property. There's going to be some mulch put down. Circle Green is going to be putting up some berms around it for them, and providing some of the ground wood for driving and storage. So it'll keep the dust down, so we're good neighbors. And staff is recommending that the board approve the temporary facilities use agreement with Asplund Construction for APN 3098-081-01.
Okay. And the fencing that's around the property now is theirs. I'm assuming they'll take that with them and then fence this section as well?
Yes, the fencing that is there right now will be removed, so the lot will be left clean, and as soon as construction starts, it'll really be clean. There's going to be a lot of grading going on there. They're going to put up inside of the berm, there's going to be a fence inside of there. The berm is going to help with the wind and the sand blowing out there. The skirting that they had on the fence out here is really marginal at best, especially on days like this. It just tears it all up. So this should make it a nice, clean area. We want to be good neighbors with the people who live in the area, and I think it's a good project for the district.
Okay. Any questions? No? Okay. Mark?
Just one comment. It's a good use of the property, but I would encourage, since we do have a fill station there, that we do concentrate on dust control, since we've stripped it, and try to keep the dust down. That's
Great
all.
question, and that will be done. They will be doing that twice a day. Right now, we walked the property today. 3 times a day. They will be watering it, the driving areas. We did walk the property today, and with the rain that we received recently, the top of the soil is bound pretty tight. So that's a really good thing, because it is a very soft area that will be compacted, covered with the wood, and wetted down 3 times a day.
Okay. Deborah, any questions?
No, that answered them.
And Mr. Kennedy, I assume you've already went through this and we're good to go?
Sorry for the delay. I'm at another client's office, so I'm getting used to their computer. I have reviewed this as part of the agenda materials. It's very close to the original facility use agreement, as General Manager Bartz had indicated, has been used by the district and Asplund Construction currently. So I'm familiar with that document and have reviewed that as part of the agenda materials. I was not asked to do anything more than that in connection with this document.
Okay, thank you. All right. If there are no further questions. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Mike, yeah, Don, they're required to have through the county a conditional use permit for that facility? So does that, they have to follow the county guidelines for like dust control and traffic and what happens in the street?
They will follow the guidelines. This is a temporary facility use agreement, which is the same exact agreement, almost identical with what we have here.
Yeah.
And we haven't had any issues at all.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering with them, that's their requirement.
Yes.
The county. All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. So I will entertain a motion.
I'll move the item.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion passes. All right. Moving on to 6B, discussion and possible action regarding chromium-6 mitigation projects. Mr. Bartz.
Yes, thank you. This is for discussion for the board tonight, and as the state of California is still working on their chromium-6 requirements that we're going to have to follow, it looks like it's going to be exactly the same as it was last time at 10 parts per billion. The district originally started years ago on a chromium-6 remediation project, which in dollars 10 years ago was about $17 million. We had a surcharge that was going to be going on for some period of time during construction, and then that was going to increase later on a kind of a permanent basis because of the pumping that we would have to do. We were going to be pumping water down from the dairy. There was over 10 miles of pipeline that was going to be installed as part of the original project. The state did rescind that due to court, and they're back at it again. But what that break did was allow us to do some analysis of the wells over the past few years. We've been able to get most of our wells, actually all of the wells that we've worked on, down below the 10 parts per billion. We still have 2 that are above, well 14 and well 12. Well 12 is scheduled to have some work done to it over the next couple of years, or the time frame in our 10-year capital, and also well 14, which is our well in LA County, which is our best producing well when we use it. But this year we've pumped less than 1 acre feet. I believe it was 0.79 acre feet so far this year. It's our most expensive well to pump, but we do like to keep that in our quiver because we do have a maximum day demand, and when you do your maximum day demand, you drop off your highest producing well. So we want to keep that well active in case of an emergency. We do have some work planned on that. This will be discussed a little bit further later on, but we're going to push the work off on that. We're planning on, we have a 4-year compliance window after, I believe, if I'm incorrect, 4 years after they pass that, and possibly even a little bit more. So we're going to push off the work as long as we can until we're kind of firm on what that 10 parts per billion is. That really going to be it? So on this, we have a completed chromium-6 mitigation projects list, and it tells you the work that we've done. We did work, I won't read through all of that, but we've done work on well 6A, well 6B, well 10, and well 9A. Every one of those have had a positive return on the effort that we put into there. Well 15 was drilled as part of the chromium project, and it is chromium 6 free. That's our new well that will go online later in this year. They're still working on getting the pump finalized and everything in the motor, getting the Edison power to that. We did purchase 929 acre feet of water rights as part of the process, and testing of wells 23, 24, and 25. We also were able to upgrade the SCADA server, which allows us to operate the wells and the boosters from basically remotely. You don't have to operate at each one. With the work that's been done, which is listed on page 45, you can see what the costs have been. And so far, we've spent right at $6 million worth of work that's been put out there. With the remaining projects, which are at the bottom of page, the bottom of the middle. It's, I think, the, which starts, Sean,
Page 45.
yeah, page 45. And I think it's starting at well 14, the profiling of well 14, but about $6 million to finish this project. One of the things we want to do is have consensus of the board to move forward with the planning of these projects. We're not going to construction on any of these. Any projects that we do would be brought back to the board, but as the district is looking to the future and developing its rate structure, we want to give IB Consulting a good idea of what is planned so we can have our rates reflect that accordingly. And as it is right now, that would be about a 7.1 year sunset on this chromium project. We do have people fairly regularly that want to know when this is going to end. You might see it on Facebook or at the front counter. But we want to kind of wrap this up and give what we expect for the dates and when this is all paid off. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Sean is going to take all the technical questions because he is much more savvy at that than I am. But staff is recommending that the board authorize staff to move forward with the development of projects necessary for the chromium-6 maximum contaminant level mitigation in anticipation of California Department of Water Resources recommendations and State Water Board adoption.
All right.
A lot of information right there.
All right, we'll start down here. Questions?
No questions, just comments. Congratulate staff on their efforts of looking at the groundwater quality and understanding the wells and taking action in terms of pattern profiling and all the things that are good. Those are good moves to help save the district money and utilize what we already have without going into great cost of doing pipelines. But we always do need new wells. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's a great idea to have the planning document in place and make sure you get all of this done, and also come up with a deadline so when people ask about it, we can kind of give the sunset and what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and that's a good point. People are looking for a sunset, and some of the people are saying, why are you continuing to do this? We want to plan ahead, with at least financially planning and a plan for completion on this to be in compliance. If you look at the $17 million that we started out with initially, we are looking at a $12 million range right now. But if you put that $17 million in today's dollars compared to 10 years ago, you're substantially higher than that. So I think staff has done a terrific job with the expertise that we've been able to bring in to figure out how to do this in an effective way. And this is not having like wellhead treatment, blending process or anything else. This is just working with the wells that we have and changing the habits of how we pump those wells. For the most part, there's a few other things.
Okay, over here, Mark,
No, nothing.
Deborah?
Just a comment. I've been watching since pretty much this all unfolded in 2017. Was put on the table. I am very impressed with where it's developed to. It was $17 million was a bit to swallow.
Yes.
This is a lot easier to swallow.
Yes. And the good thing is there's not a escalator built into this that would be on there permanently, which was part of the original plan. It was going to be, I believe it was over $10 a month per customer is what it was going to accelerate to when this project was actually in place. We don't have to implement that now.
It was anticipated over 12.
Over $12, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it was over 12.
All right, so they're just looking for a consensus. I assume we're all in agreement? Yes? Yes? All right.
And as we go through the rate process, there will be a lot of discussions. I know we had some discussions in engineering about ideas for, how do we build this into the rate structure? How do we continue with this? So there'll be plenty of opportunity and input from the public too on what this looks like.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on to agenda item 6C, discussion and possible action on well number 15, payment number 4, and change order number 2. Mr. Wertz.
Thank you. The district contracted with Southwest in 2022, and this is for well 15, which has now been substantially completed. The drilling part is done. We're waiting for power, the pumps, motors, and all of that. The pipeline's been laid right up to the property. And we've only had 2 change orders on this entire project, one which was approved already, and that was for the additional increase in the pipe, which was negotiated right up front before they started the project. And the only other change order was for $8,700 and $8,740, and that was for spinner testing and depth specific sampling, which gives us more confidence with our chromium-6 free water that we're able to do with this in the production. And staff is recommending that the board approve the application for payment for services and materials furnished at well 15.
Okay, thank you. All right, start on this side. Questions or comments?
Nope. Thank you.
Mark?
So this is the final invoice?
No, there will be one final invoice, which will be the retention.
Oh, the retention,
correct.
besides the retention. So just over $1 million is a really good price for this well. I just want to say a lot of wells cost a lot more than that.
Yes, there's a well that's being drilled locally, which is a little bit more than what we paid for our well.
Okay. Questions, comments? No? All right, so I will entertain a motion.
I'll move the item.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, the motion passes. All right, moving on to 6D, discussion and possible action regarding purchase of mini excavator and hydraulic tilt trailer. Mr. Bartz.
Thank you. I'm not going to read the entire, the entire background on this.
We appreciate that.
Some of the savings that the district was able to see as part of doing the construction on the new well, the pipeline and everything, and with well within our budget, actually well under the budget that we had for that. Staff is requesting to buy a piece of equipment which is going to help. It's a mini excavator. It's going to help in mainly in construction of, or mostly with the service line replacements and other things, but I think that's one of the main reasons that the staff would like to look at that. The total for this is $78,676, and we looked at all different types of equipment for this. Sean, if you want to kind of talk about the equipment that you looked at and why we chose this particular type of equipment for this.
Sure. We solicited bids from Cat, John Deere, Kubota, Bobcat. Kubota came in significantly cheaper than any of their competitors. We referenced other districts, and Kubota scored significantly higher with just about everyone. There was one person partial to Cat, but Kubota really took the lion's share of the confidence vote. And that's why we've elected to go with the U55. And it's compatible with basically the size and power of the backhoes we field. And it'll save fuel and be lighter, so our service trucks will be able to tow it around the district and not that require the use of the big rig every time we need to take out our equipment.
Yes. So I'd like to draw your attention to the last paragraph. This is very important for us. Per section 6D of the district's purchasing policy, exemptions to competitive bidding. This item was not advertised for bids because staff deemed advertisement for competitive bidding would be undesirable, impractical, or impossible. Staff feels that advertising in a publication for an equipment purchase would not produce an advantage, as equipment pricing is a volatile market. And what you have is you basically have manufacturers that are proprietary for their product. So staff's recommendation is the board approve the purchase of the new Kubota U55 5R1A excavator with the quick coupler and angle blades from Apex Equipment and a 7x20 14K hydraulic tilt trailer from Trailers Plus.
Okay. Questions or comments?
That is a good machine. It'll work in multiple situations. It has the front blade. My only recommendation in the future when we look at equipment is because of the type of inclement weather that we do have up here, we look at enclosed cab. And then you might want to think about attachments for that, such as a sheep's foot, a vibratory plate, or a thumb that will help move materials around.
That is certainly our hope.
That's all. Thank you.
Sure. Mark?
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with trailers, but is the backhoes that we have too large for a pickup to haul on a trailer?
Yes, sir. Our
Okay.
backhoe's about 23,000 pounds.
Yeah, I was just, because I was wondering if you're gonna buy a trailer, but that's not feasible, you have to use yeah, okay, that's all. Yeah, and I was interested about like a sheep's foot if you're digging a line but that could be an attachment on a backhoe too, correct?
Our original spec did spec out for enclosed cab. Unfortunately, like everything else, they're in short supply. They're 10 months out. And this unit any attachments in the future is an option. It does have the quick coupler and the hydraulic outputs for if we wanted to run like a breaker or a sheep's foot. That certainly is a possibility on this machine.
Do you know the approximate prices of the enclosed cab and the sheep's foot?
The enclosed cab added about $7,000 and a sheep's foot would be about $3,500.
Okay. And the board, if they chose, they could consider approving something like that along with this item? Knowing that it's going to take 10 months.
Well, yeah, it depends on how fast you want it, and if the board approves this, then a $7,500 addition would fall under the general manager's prerogative, so. I mean, what I'm saying is if the board decides to approve this, then I think that if one was available or they decided to wait, I think the general manager could probably cover the rest, so. Yes, that's all.
Deborah?
Well, knowing that the state's looking at wanting to have 50% of all purchases being electric soon, I'm very happy we're getting this out of the way now.
Yeah, the staff did take a good look at the battery-powered vehicles, and the runtime, the weight, the cost is just not practical at this point to look at a piece of electric equipment like this.
Well, even finding one, from my understanding, is rather hard too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you.
Okay. So with that, does anyone like to motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The motion passes.
Thank you.
All right. Agenda item 6E, update on the proposed Civic Center and Phelan Park expansion projects. Mr. Burtz.
George loves this part of the meeting. He loves to give updates.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bartz. More so that, really I have a short update. The WQMP is in for review. We're just waiting for final approval on that so that the county can then conditionally approve the project, which is the grading plan. Hopefully by next week, we should have an approval on this project and move forward with the RFP and bringing this to the board for approval. The Phelan Park, the CEQA, as you know, the county has taken lead on. They have the draft, they've reviewed, and they will be noticing the ban of mission Indians as is required per AB 52, probably in the next week or so. There's a 30-day response period, and then at that point, it'll be out for public comment. So I have nothing more to report on the park or the Civic Center. If you have any questions, I'm here to help.
Questions? Nope. We're letting you off easy.
Yeah, it was going to be a short one. Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right. Agenda item 7, committee reports, beginning with engineering.
Yeah, and engineering met yesterday and went over existing projects and pipelines. Also went over the budget items under the engineering, and then also discussed the Chromium 6 portion, which was in the packet.
Mm-hmm.
And the minutes, I'm sure, are not done yet, but they'll be in the next meeting. And if you have any other questions at that time, we can answer them. And did you have anything
Nope,
to add?
that was it. All right, finance committee.
Has not met.
Okay, legislative.
We have not met either for a while.
All right, park and rec, we haven't met since the last time we updated. And waste and recycling.
We met last week and went over more of the details of being able to secure self-hauling and those, and was informed about fully informed of what they would present on Saturday at the presentation. And I must say, Kim Savvy did a wonderful job, and I must thank her for that job. Thank you.
Could you summarize what happened Saturday real quickly?
Yes, we brought in the Festivus poll. There was the airing of grievances. I kid. There was a lot of airing of grievances, a lot of stuff that are out of our control because it's at the state level or it's a county issue. And but for the most part, it was good to deliver good news that we're not going to implement a permit with a fee right now for self-hauling like the county is, and that our rates for the basic level of compliance, which is a 3-cart service, are remaining the same. And so then we got into the kind of rollout process and what that's going to look like. So I'll be updating the website by the end of the week. We have some mailers that are going to go out, and the application form indicating whether you're going to self-haul or what service you'd like with CR&R is going to go out in our July bills. So it's going to take about 6 months to kind of gather all of those and then get everybody on board. But you're going to start seeing the 3-cart containers rolling out now for new customers and existing CR&R customers. The only downside is for now, until they have their trucks and staffing to where it needs to be, and of course we're collecting enough recyclable and organics material, they are going to be collecting everything in one truck until January. which isn't what we want, but it's just the logistics of setting up an entirely brand new program. It's just not going to work to collect them separately right now. Plus, of course, supply chain, we don't have the trucks yet. And every new customer that is getting the barrels, or even existing customers getting the 3-cart system, they're being told this. So they're aware of what's happening. They're getting informative flyers. And so we're going to have quite a bit of marketing that's going to start now that our program is in the final stages of development, finally. So yeah, it was a good meeting, good turnout.
Yeah, I was watching part of the meeting online and I kept hearing January and I thought I was having some sort of seizure because we kept saying July, 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 and then I kept hearing January, so.
So as Brandon pointed out, you know, it's not like a city where we can deliver 70 carts an hour because we can't just roll into a neighborhood. So it's going to take about 6 months with supply chain and with staffing and our huge district to get everybody the barrels or, you know, even dumpsters, everything that they need to sign up. Plus, you know, we're going through a paperwork process too, now that this is a property related fee. Before you used to just, anybody could call CR&R and set up service. But now that we have that property fee component to it, we need to make sure we're doing our due diligence and that the owners of the property are aware of the services and possible debts that could be incurred to that property. So we have a lot of administrative work ahead of us, and you know, getting CR&R trained on that type of process is something we're working on. We meet with them every week. It's going very well.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we will move on to item number 8, Staff and General Managers Report. Mr. Bartz.
I have nothing to add tonight.
All right, so we will move on to number 9, Director's
I
Report.
just make one comment. Well, okay, I can do it under Director's comment.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So Director's Reports. We'll start with Deborah.
I attended the Association of San Bernardino County Community Services meeting last beginning of this week, and it was we had brief presentations by each district to see what they're all involved in. I must say that our president did a great job representing us. Thank you. Oh, I also attended the workshop last night at Mojave Water Agency where they went over the history of the adjudication. I learned a lot. I have a PowerPoint presentation. I had them email me. I will get it to Mrs. Sevi to email to all you guys. It's quite a bit. It was quite the path to get where we're at.
Nice, thank you. Okay, Mark?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on page 69. It has there's 4 months of production, and I totaled them all together, and of course, this last year was less because it was an extremely wet winter, but it was a small drop, so I was pleased to see a drop, but not too much of a drop, so I just wanted to comment about that. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Chuck?
I just want to thank Kim for all the hard work she's done with the solid waste stuff. I know it's a very tough topic, and some people are very touchy about it, but I think you're handling it very well, so thank you for that.
That's right. All right, Greg?
I have nothing to report, thank you.
All right. And I also attended the ASB CSD, and the only reason I sound amazing is because, again, Mrs. Sevi is amazing, and she gave me all the bullet points to make me sound like I know what I'm talking about. So there's that. All right, number 10, correspondence and information.
Okay, so the updated district meeting list is in here. We have our summer activities flyers. Our baking class is completely booked, so backup list only at this point. Our irrigation system and our notice of water rate change per our rate schedule was in the bills. And we have a free tire day on June 10th. And I just want to take a moment, since we're recognizing people, to thank Jen, because she does all of these flyers for us. And they're very professional. And I appreciate all of her work on this and all the other things that she helps out with, including the art contest. So thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
I wanted to add a point, her posts on Facebook, how they're animated, are awesome. They look, they pop.
Perfect. All right, so number 11, review of action items. Were there any prior meeting action items?
Yes, I did update the committee calendars.
Okay, and current meeting action items.
I have recorded none.
All right, so then number 12, setting agenda for next meeting. Does anyone have anything they would like to add? I would like to add that I will not be here. So Mr. Roberts will be running the
Okay. Yep,
Public
we have our
hearing.
public hearing on our solid waste rates at that meeting. And I believe Mr. Kennedy will be in person for that meeting as well.
thumbs up. All right. Okay. So with no further business before the board, we are adjourned at 5:51 p.m. Thank you.